Hey guys, I'm glad to have you back. If you haven't been here before, my name is Karina Joy, and I talk about books pretty much, is the only thing I talk about. So yeah, this is going to be my top 7. It's 10, but one of them is a trilogy, so I don't know. Top 10 of 2021. Okay, so my reading year was different than usual because I discovered Goodreads and BookTube. I enjoyed my reading year a whole lot more. I loved keeping track of everything. It was so much fun. I've never had a year where I've gotten to look back on what I've read and kind of be like, oh yeah, I remember that, or man, it's been a while. I don't know what the storyline on that one is, but I'm super excited to share with you the books that I loved in 2021. Now, that being said, some of these, it's been a while since I've read, so I will give you a short snippet of information, which is typically what I do because I don't like to give away a lot on books, but I don't want you to be like, that's all she's gonna say. But some of these I don't remember as much. I just know that they're really good books that you'll love. So I'm gonna start off with number 10, and this one's actually on the floor. Okay, so number 10, sorry, I gotta put my notebook up, is The Wise Woman by George MacDonald. Now, this is a classic fantasy. George MacDonald is actually an author that C.S. Lewis drew a lot of his inspiration from. He did a lot of allegories and things like that. It was published in 18 something. Okay, sorry, I had to look it up. So this was published in 1875. It's also known as The Lost Princess. It is an allegory. I would say it deals with pride and arrogance quite a bit. It's a really good book. So the wise woman helps out a spoiled princess and a little girl who is a shepherd's daughter and doesn't ever get into any trouble, but even though she is good, she does her good deeds with an arrogant attitude. And so this woman helps these two girls kind of overcome those situations in their life. It is a fantasy, so things happen that are weird, but it's okay. And also, the only thing I really didn't like, and maybe that's like the biggest thing, and maybe it shouldn't be one of my favorite books, but the ending is really abrupt. And I was kind of like, really? That's where it's going to end? But the rest of the story was so good that it's still one of my favorites. Okay, so number 9 is, I have these all in the wrong spot, which is kind of ridiculous if you ask me, but number 9 is A Shepherd Looks at Psalm 23. This is a Christian nonfiction. It's by W. Philip Keller. He used to be a shepherd in Africa, and he just explains things so well about why we are called sheep and why Jesus is called the Good Shepherd, and he just goes into so much depth that I never even knew existed when it comes to being a shepherd. it's so good, guys. Definitely going to be something that I probably reread every year because it just has a lot of stuff in there that I need. It talks about how sometimes we can be really stubborn and stupid and, just like sheep. Sheep can, even though they know something's bad for them, they'll still do it just because they want to. And that's how people are. And it's really interesting the way that he shows how our good shepherd puts things in place to help us save us from ourselves, pretty much. So this is something that is definitely a read for every Christian, and definitely something that I think you're going to want to reread. Okay, so number 8 is The Wizard of Oz. Now, I read this with my kids, and yeah, I never realized it's kind of dark in places, but I mean, it wasn't so bad that my kids were like scared or anything, but I'm reading some of the parts of this and I'm like, ooh, that is not like the movie. But anyway, this is my first time ever to read The Wizard of Oz, and I really enjoyed reading it with my children. I wanted to show you some of the illustrations in this edition. I used to sell Usborne books, and this is one of the books that I ordered while I was working for them, and I really do love the illustrations in here. So this is a good edition if you don't own it already, if you want something that's just kind of whimsical, but I really do love some of the illustrations in here. I think the drawings are really cute. There's one more I wanted to show you. Where is it? There it is, I think. Nope, that's not it. There it is. I just really enjoyed reading this with my kids. Like I said, it's kind of dark. If you have some sensitive kids, it might not be good for them, but definitely something that I recommend reading as an adult. And if your kids are okay with a little bit of kind of questionable, a little bit gory stuff, this might be okay for them as well. So The Wizard of Oz, again, this is the Usborne edition. So if you have a friend that sells Usborne and you like this edition, go buy it from them. Okay, number 7. Okay, so I don't have the physical copy to this one because my 9-year-old absolutely loves this book and she's always asking me to reread it, even though we haven't yet, but I think we will soon because we all loved it so much. But it's called When Mischief Comes to Town. It is a story about a little girl whose mother passes away and she ends up going and living with her grandmother in, I want to say, I get these two mixed up. It's either Norway or Denmark. I don't know, it's one of those. And I'm sorry I got it mixed up. I should know my geography better. But anyway, it's so cute. Okay, guys, there's cats and turkeys and lots of funny things that happen that make you laugh. My children loved it. I loved it. You need to read it if you haven't already. It was definitely, I would have to say, I don't know what I rated it at the time. I think it's probably a 5-star, but it's a 5-star. And I'll definitely be rereading it this year. Okay. So 6, 5, and 4 is a trilogy. And that is, now guys, I might be the last person on earth to read these books, but it's The Hunger Games. Yes. I don't have all 3 of them. I'm not real sure where my Catching Fire went. I do have it. It's just missing right now. I loved these. I don't know why I didn't read them. First of all, okay, so when I was in my early 20s, I didn't know things were books until they were a movie already, and then I would watch the movie and not read the books. So that's kind of what happened here. And then I decided this year, no, I'm going to read the books, because even though I've watched the movie, that's okay. The books are always better, and by far, these books are so much better than the movies. And we were on vacation when I was reading The Hunger Games, and I was like getting a little car sick. So I was like, I wonder if I can find this on audiobook. So I found it on Hoopla, and oh my goodness, the audiobook experience for this is so good. I will link the name of the lady that reads it, but she's actually an actress. And so the way she does the voice is just, it's not just a person reading the book. You can tell she is putting her heart into it, and it is so good. I ended up I have all the copies of this, but I ended up not reading the physical copies because I loved the audio so much. And I would probably, if I reread them, I would probably do the audio again because it's so good. The only thing, one day I might reread these and annotate them, because I do like to annotate books, but I don't know. I definitely want my kids to read these when they're older because they're very good. Okay, so that's The Hunger Games. Let's see, that was 6, 5, and 4. I'm sorry, I've got junk here. Forgive me. I actually like this setup a lot. I'm actually in my church right now, and this is like our foyer. And a couple of videos I filmed in my husband's office with some backdrops that he bought me for Christmas. But I just really like the lighting in here, and I love this little shelf over here my husband built. And yeah, pretty soon I'm remodeling my bedroom, and that's where I'll be doing all my filming and working, and because I'm gonna start a business soon, and I'm super excited, but it's gonna be a completely different spot. I don't know why I had to rant about that. Okay, so number 3. Okay, number 3 is Saving Winslow by Sharon Creech. Guys, this is just one of those books that will warm your heart and make you happy. It is so good. It's about a little baby donkey and a little boy that helps raise the donkey. And I'm not gonna say much because you really just need to read it yourself. Oh my goodness, it's really short. I don't even know how many pages it is. Let's see. It's 165 pages, and if you see the margins are kind of big, so you can probably get through it in a day. Guys, this is so good. You need to read it. I'm not going to say much about it because donkey, little boy, cuteness. That's all you need to know. Okay, so, oh wait, that was number, I don't know, I have my numbers all off, so forgive me. This is number 2. This is Another Day as Emily. This I read in November, and I've already talked about it in probably 2 videos, I think. It's so good. I read it in a day. It's free verse, middle grade, super cute. This little girl does a summer project about Emily Dickinson, and she decides she's going to be a recluse, which is secretly something that I've wanted to do more than once. So I really did enjoy this. The little girl's name is Susan, and I could totally relate to her. It was such a good book. Definitely going to be something that I reread, and I would probably read it to my kids as well. I read it to myself, but I think my kids would really love this one. Okay, and then, okay, so these are tie. This is a tie. Okay, number one, I can't decide which one I like more. One of these you've heard of, the other one you probably haven't, but you need to read it seriously because I want to have a conversation about it, and I have yet to have anybody that I know read this book. I'm going to start sending it to people as gifts and forcing them to read it because I want to talk about it. But coming in at number one, it's a tie between, I gotta stand back a little bit, Skyward and In Another Girl's Shoes. Oh, they were so good. Some of my favorite of all times. Okay, so I'm going to talk about, let's see, which one do I want to talk about first? I'll talk about this one first. Okay, so In Another Girl's Shoes by Berta Ruck. This is a classic. It was published in 1916. Oh, so good. Okay. This is one of those stories that could be extremely predictable, but she did it in such a way, like she added some twists and stuff in here. Ah, so good. I'm not going to go into it in too much detail because I have a video where I reviewed it and I will link it up here, but I talked about it excessively in that video. But just a quick rundown. This is about a girl named Rose. She meets this girl on the train that is kind of ritzy, fancy. She tells her that she is a widow, that her husband died in the war, and she thinks it would be a good idea if they switched places and Rose go and meet his family instead of her. So all kinds of things happen. It's super, super good. I need somebody to read it, please. Okay, guys, read it. And this one, Skyward. Oh, there's so many other people that have said this is their favorite this year, and I know exactly why. It's so good. Okay, so I've always been a sci-fi nerd. It's just one of my favorite things. I love sci-fi. It's so much fun. So I was gonna love it anyway just because it's sci-fi, but I love the narrative that goes on. She is so funny. She cracks me up how feisty she is. And then, oh my goodness, guys, if you've read this book, you know, but the twist at the end, what? Oh, I'm so ready for the next one. I think I need to do a spoiler video on this so that I can have a conversation about some things that I know most people have already read the second and possibly the third. So I might wait until those come out before I do it, but I do want to have a conversation about this book because it's good. Okay, so guys, these 10 books, my favorite. I think there were 10. I might have miscounted. I don't know. It was a good year. I hope to have another amazing reading year. I'm glad that you came and listened to me talk about some books. So yeah, that was my top 10 books of 2021. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe and join me for the next one.